5,000 views, it's still small. You know? Yeah, I can hear. Later.
Peace.
Are you gonna be here listening to us?
What's up?
So shall we? What you think? First of all, you know what? A fight that I missed that I completely forgot about was Camarón Zepada against Tevin Farmer. I didn't even know it was this weekend until you mentioned it. What do you think about that?
That, I don't know. It's Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer be giving everybody problems.
Yeah.
Murataya had a hard time with him, and I mean,
you know what? And this is something that I wanted to touch on last time. And remember, I said, "Oh, damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say." It's like a lot of people like to do in MMA. They call it MMA math. Oh, because this guy did good with him, he should do good with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. However, I think that you can't discount the fact that sometimes some people put a lot of emphasis on getting a great camp because this opponent is at this level, right? So what I mean by that is like you gotta think that Tevin Farmer is getting the most prepared for these guys, these young guys that are up and coming, you know. So you can't compare. Well, I don't know. Here's my question to you: do you think that that's something that should be considered, right? Like you can't think that the Tevin Farmer of, I don't know, 5 years ago is showing up to fight these guys today. He's got to come on his A game, right? Like
he is coming on his A game. That's why it's surprising. Yeah. Like I gave up on him, and I mean he's come up short on these fights, but he's damn look good doing it.
Yeah. He's made one of my favorite prospects. Well, I guess he's a contender now. Murataya, he made, that was a tough fight for him in my opinion. Yeah. It was really close. Some people thought that he may have even edged it out. But same thing. I didn't get to watch this fight with Camarón. I only watched the highlights, and the one highlight showed him getting dropped. But you can't discount the fact that this guy's coming prepared. So you can't think that, oh yeah, he should. These guys should be whooping his ass. Like you never know what this guy's coming with, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a surprise to see Camarón get knocked down though. Not gonna lie.
I'm just thinking how to say things without like. It's showing now that he's at the who has he fought with big name? Besides Jojo Diaz.
Probably Maxie Hughes, who gave George Kambosos a decent fight. He did what George Kambosos couldn't do, which arguably he may have even lost that fight, but he put him out. Like I think he knocked him out like the second or third. Giovanni Cabrera, which
he got him out.
He got him out of there, and something that Pitbull couldn't do.
Styles make fights, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I don't know. We'll see what happens when he fights somebody. Will he get up to Also, did he get up to fight Tevin Farmer?
Right.
Did he train hard?
Right.
Tevin's training like it's the end of his career, and Camarón's getting ready for the big names.
Perhaps overlooked them.
Well, we don't know, huh?
Even lefties have problems with lefties. I noticed that even in sparring, like, is he a lefty? I'm like, what do you mean you're a lefty? Who cares?
Who gives a right hand, left hook, left hook, right hand.
Who gives a fuck? But aside from that, we had I didn't even watch that card, to be honest with you. That I think it was in Saudi. I
didn't see it. I heard Ramirez had a good fight too, but they were talking about him on that podcast. Not the podcast, but the Pro Box. How they were excited about that fight. I didn't watch it. It was in the morning.
Yeah,
I didn't see it Saturday.
That's Saudi time, Aside from that, we had. I watched the undercard was decent. I liked Shushu Carrington. That was a pretty good, and that was an entertaining fight. And then Mario Barrios against.
I watched that one at the end because I was messaging you. You were telling me that he got dropped.
Yep, he got dropped. I was like, holy shit! I turned it on right when he got dropped.
And then I watched it, and it was like, I guess it was like the first half was Barrios, and then the second half was Ramos, and then all of a sudden Barrios started coming right back to it at the end. Yep. So I like how they handled it. They both said that fight was like a draw.
It was a draw.
They didn't complain. They didn't. I didn't see the build up for the fight, but it seems like they didn't talk shit to each other. They just went out there and put a badass fight.
And it was.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the most, in my opinion, probably the best fight of the night.
Yeah.
And then the women's fight. I know I'll get a lot of flack for that, but I really, honestly, I don't really watch women's boxing at all. If I do, one of the boxers that I think that I wouldn't miss her fight would be Alicia Baumgartner. But besides that, yeah. That was a tough fight, though, you know. Big kudos to Amanda for fighting like that with that fucked up eye, bro. Like, honestly, like any other ref or doc probably would have stopped that shit, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Nasty,
I was surprised they didn't stop it to go. I mean, they would have went to the scorecard right then and there. And I think I didn't watch the whole fight, but I think what's her name?
Which one, Katie Taylor?
Yeah, Katie Taylor. I think she took more of the last rounds, you know. So if it would have went to the scorecard in the after the 7th round because of the accidental headbutt, Serrano would have won.
Yeah.
But it is. I don't know. As the boxing gods didn't allow it to be stopped. It's surprisingly because some other cuts are worse and they stop them. And that little poor Serrano fought like that with that shit split open.
But that shit was hanging off her fucking.
Yeah, she had like extra layers of fat coming out her fucking eye. So she's a warrior, man. I mean,
she is, man.
I don't like how Katie fought, just leading with her head. The commentators were saying they were both doing it. Serrano was up high, so she couldn't lead with her head.
Yeah.
And if she would have led with her head, she would have cut her too a couple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it sucks for Serrano. There probably won't be a third fight because this one took 2 years too.
Apparently, they're saying yes to a third, but making it kind of like the men doing the 12-round 3-minute, which is what they did in the first fight, if I'm not mistaken.
They did 3-minute rounds. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
they'll fight 3 minutes, and Jake Paul and Tyson won't. I'm fucked. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that.
Yeah, that fight.
So let's talk about it. People are talking about it. We can't ignore it.
I know.
I don't like talking about.
I don't like it either.
Jake
I don't
Paul,
like giving that attention, you know.
But this is embarrassing. Like it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, boy.
It's like, what are we watching? Like, everybody thought. I read a comment earlier. Javier Orozco, one of the guys that I know from Northern California, from up there from San Fernando, said, if Dan Marino came in the league right now to play football, we wouldn't watch him. You know, it's like we're expecting to see Mike Tyson be the Mike Tyson of his youth. Yeah. And no.
He just, you know, like you said earlier, this time he showed his age. No legs under him, you know. I don't know. I couldn't finish watching that shit, to be honest with you. I watched like 1 or maybe 2 rounds, and I was like, what am I doing?
I watched 1.
Yeah.
I watched 1 round because Adam called me. He's like, bro, did you see Mike Tyson with no underwear on? I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
So I tuned in, and I started watching. I got the tail end of the Katie fight, Katie and Serrano. I did watch the Barrios and last. Ramos because we know Ramos. You know, I met Ramos was here in San Diego when we were sparring Maurice Hooker. His nephew was sparring against Maurice, and the Ramos family, they're cool people.
Stand up.
Yeah, just cheering him. I was happy to see him at that stage after having a couple of losses in his boxing record. It goes to show you that fighters ain't done when they're when they have losses. You know, he was in there, gave a great fight, one of the fights of the night.
Yeah.
And then Serrano and Katie took the second fight. You can either way you want to talk about it, and then the Tyson, from what I hear, and Paul, I can't criticize him much because I turned that off after the first round. So I don't know how that fight went. I know people I just read the comments. People were like, "This is the worst."
There's a bad showing. It's crazy, right? Like, how much money was probably behind that shit. You know, could have been. Anyway, but I know what Adam's talking about. It's because his son, Tyson's son, went in to interview him in the locker room.
Yeah.
And he was like, and Mike like gave him a kiss, and totally unexpected. Like he walked away, and he was like in his concha, like his fucking groin protector.
Though. That's on purpose.
And just like bare ass, dude. I couldn't help but fucking crack up. I was like, what the fuck did I
Either Tyson is that old, or he did that shit on purpose. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Adam, cut that clip if you can fucking find it, because that shit was hilarious. It was like a serious. He was like, oh shit, you know how loving, you know, his son is right there interviewing him. That's super cool. And he walks away, and all you see is his ass, dude. It was hilarious. If you guys didn't catch it, but anyway.
Wait. One more thing. We should all the boxing fans, like, or the boxing enthusiasts, whatever you want. How long are you guys gonna put up with this Jake Paul shit? Are you guys? You guys are supporting it, like there's fighters that can't even catch a break in the business, you know?
Yeah, man.
There's fighters that never cash in on $1 million. I understand, but fighters can't spend their whole life trying to develop a platform on social media and be a good fighter. You know, 20, 30 years ago, I guess we had Butterbean back then, so I can't talk shit, but there's always a little spectacle that we want to watch. We either watch the best fighters in the world or the jokes, you know, like, you know, so I don't know. It's hard to understand. There's fighters that will never make no money in the sport because
fighters who lost their life, like you said earlier.
Guys have died in the ring, and to see this like joke of a fighter, like, this is sad. You
know, it surprises me that the media, and I think that's a conversation for later too. You know, that they even pay this much attention to it. They give him that much. They give him that platform. I'm not a fan of it. You know, more power to him. I'm not hating. You know, he's fucking making money off of this shit. But at the same time, it's like there's dudes who really. You know, even like a kid like Murataya, he's not big on social media. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the fighters, like you said, to be a great fighter and put that much emphasis on the whole like self-promotion shit, it's hard to come by. The only one who's really been successful with it is Ryan. You know, but
he fought before. He's fought
before. He's fought for a long time.
National champion, stuff like that. Yeah, and
he capitalized on that shit. But there's a lot of fighters out there who are really fucking good who don't get that attention that hopefully out of this fucking bullshit.
One of my nieces was like 19, 20 years old. She posted on social media, nobody could get with Jake Paul. None of you boxers can get with him. And she wrote on the comment. I'm not gonna say which niece it is. And I didn't want her to comment so badly. Like, she said, no boxers in his weight division could get with him.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm like, does she know that he hasn't fought a boxer yet besides Tyson Fury? Fury, Tommy, whatever. Yeah. Tommy Fury.
And lost to him.
Lost to him. And then does she know that Tyson is like that scene on Friday, on that scene on Coming to America? Mike Tyson, 160 years old. He's beyond his prime, you know? Like,
I don't even know what weight class he's in. Like, what is he?
I was a heavyweight fight.
Is he a cruiserweight? Is he a light heavy? Like, I don't even know what fucking weight class he's actually in.
Who?
Jake Paul. I have no idea.
220 something.
So he was a heavyweight.
But now he's a heavyweight.
You know that fool was on that shit too. That fool was big, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but
that's so. Serrano and Katie Holmes.
Taylor.
Katie Taylor. That's an actress, huh? We talked about it earlier. I can't keep fucking up.
That's the homegirl that was married to Tom Cruise, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well,
Dawson's Creek. Ain't down.
I watched that fight a little bit at the end because that's when Adam called me about the headbutts. I mean, about the butt cheeks, the headbutts to the butt cheeks. And what I saw was Katie leading with her forehead, you know, the whole fight. And I heard the commentating say that they were both doing it.
Nah.
Like I said, no. And what else is going to touch
on? You know, the good thing that the coach was, he was out there with that shit.
That's another thing. You know? Yeah, the referee came to the corner in the 6th or 7th round, and he asked Serrano's coach if he wanted to stop the fight. The way he asked him was emphasizing that if you stop the fight, you guys lose.
Yeah.
That's a TKO. Yeah. And he says, well, you make the call. He says, no, you make the call. Well, you make the call. You're the referee, you know?
What the fuck?
And I don't understand why they didn't stop it. I've seen less cuts.
I've seen cuts, yeah.
That they've been stopped for less.
Like the first headbutt, that cut. You know what I'm saying?
And only 1 point taken away after she deliberately hit her like 4 more times after that cut.
She was literally falling into her, like throwing like this, bro. Sloppy. Honestly, I think I really hope they watch it. They watch it back, and in my opinion, right, like the adjustment, you know, that I would have suggested would be hit and then just cut like a slight step back, lean back, cut a small little angle, and Serrano would have taken that shit in the bag easily.
1-2 step backs.
Yeah. Simple, but
I didn't know Serrano was I never knew because I don't follow her career, but I didn't know she was a smaller weight.
Yeah, she was like 126, I think. She went up to I think it was 140.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah, huge respect. She had her fucking hurt in the either first or second round. I can't remember. She hit her nicely, boom, and she stunned her. She fell back. She hurt her for sure. And after that, the fight started to change. Katie Taylor started
using her 1-2 in her head. 1-2 headbutt.
1-2 headbutt, man. Golly. But I'm excited because we get to kind of pick your brain a little bit on who you think are the best. Your top 10, right, of all time?
My top 10.
Your top 10 of all time. We get to learn kind of your perspective of the game, and I'm excited.
Should I go with honorable mentions first?
Honorable mentions first?
Because my honorable mentions are better than...
Actually, yeah, let's go honorable mentions first because a lot of people always do the top 10 and then the honorable mentions.
Yeah, let's do honorable mentions first. Okay.
Honorable mentions.
Don't be mad at me, guys. Okay, here we go. My first fighter, it's not ABC order, it's not in ranking, so just bear with me. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Ooh.
Crafty, sharp, left-hander, hard to hit, give everybody a run for their money. Number 2, Joe Louis. I was thinking about the barbershop scene in the Coming to America. Joe Louis. Joe Louis, what he did, served in the military, fought. What got me was when he fought Max Malin, lost, came back and beat Max Malin. My Roy Jones Jr., he could be in anybody's top 10.
Yeah.
Just something I had never seen at that
and
time.
Just with these top 3, it's I think a lot of people are like, damn, this is honorable mentions.
This
like,
is
who's
honorable
top 10?
For me, it doesn't mean this is honorable mentions. Alexis Arguello.
Ooh,
he fought at a time where the best fought the best, and
true.
Muhammad Ali is my number 5 honorable mentions. Why? Because it didn't really like influence me as a young kid. I respect and everything he did and mad love. And like I said, this is not the order. If I made the order, he'd probably be number 11 on my list, which is number 1 on the. Yep. The next one is Ricardo Lopez, Finito Lopez. If anybody knows anything about him, he retired undefeated, 50-0. 1 draw, and he avenged that draw. You know, he's considered one of the best fighters of all time in Mexico.
And why do you think that he's not really people? The real ones, like the guys, Mike Tyson knows of him, right? Like
all the fighters know of him, but he was in a division that people didn't follow, the strawweights, right? Yeah, flyweight, strawweight. Yeah. He also fought around on the same time that Chavez did, and Tyson, and all these big names. Yeah, I got outshined by the big names. Yeah.
Don't sleep on the small weights though. Those guys
right now
we
give them
fights.
Respect, like Ito Estrada, Bam Bam, Inoue. You know, I could go on.
Chocolatito, good. Rey Martinez, he's pretty exciting to watch too.
My number 7th honorable mention is a guy who I once posted that he was like open the doors for all of us, even though he's of African American descent. Was Jack Johnson? Ooh. Jack Johnson was beating up people and then taking their girlfriends across state lines.
White women.
He did it at a time where people were
that shit was against the law.
Not handling it well back then. Yep. Number 8 honorable mention is Rocky Marciano.
Ooh.
Rocco Marciano. He was just undefeated. Also 49-0.
49-0. Yeah.
He fought, and people he don't get that much love because he fought in an era where he didn't have that many opponents.
The black and white.
He didn't have that many dance partners. You know, He beat a lot of guys on their way out, like Jersey Joe Walcott and Joe Louis. They were on their way out.
He's a small dude, right? For heavyweight.
Small dude. Number 9 was ML Griffith. ML Griffith was a welterweight in the late 50s, early 60s from the Virgin Islands. The reason he sticks out to me because he was like, they called him he was like the boogeyman at 147. He actually killed a guy in the ring. He killed Benny Kid Perret in the ring.
Not many fighters come from there either, yeah?
Yeah, not that many. Yeah. Him and I think Julian Jackson are one of the few that I could think of off the top of my head. And then number 10, this guy, he could have made it on my top 10, but it's too many people that influenced me, like, as a fighter. So, Felix Trinidad.
Ooh.
You know, he's...
Tito.
Tito was one of those guys, if you hit him and dropped him, if he got up, which he did most of the time, all the time, he about to get fucked up. He would beat the snot out of people.
You know what? My dad made me watch a fight not too long ago, maybe like a year ago. He's like, pon la de Yori Boy. Yori Boy contra Trinidad. Yeah. Like, just watch that shit. He got all excited.
It was funny because Yori Boy was like the great, like, he was a combination of Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, that's what my dad said.
Yeah, he was like the next guy coming.
He was the next guy, and then that was it, no? He dropped off after that.
After that, he was never the same.
Golly.
Okay. Here's my top 10, okay? And these are not, and actually No particular order. I'm going to say why they're my top 10.
Let's go.
Andre Ward.
Ooh. Okay.
He never, after he was 12 years old, I think he never lost a fight, you know? Gold medalist. Okay, I can't say much about him. I can say so much about him. I wrote 2 attributes. His psychological. He was psychological and he was calculated. Mm-hmm. The mind was very important to him, you know, the mindset and being groomed by Virgil Hunter.
I was just about to ask that. You think his trainer had a lot
talking to Virgil Hunter, I had a few times with Coach Bashir where went to the Nationals and I hung out and picked Coach Hunter's brain.
Yeah.
I felt like I was talking to a pimp. Hey, baby boy, you know, we're talking about walking in the ring. We're talking about strategy.
Yeah.
And his energy, he just talks
detail.
like, oh my God, that guy. So I can see why Andre Ward is like how he is.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to send Adam a picture of me in the ring with Virgil Hunter so he can post it.
Hell yeah.
When I'm walking, we're discussing placement. And I've got to, you know, thanks to Coach Bashir and me sacrificing, I've got to meet some great coaches and pick their brain. He was one of them.
And you've worked, you've had some camps with Andre, no?
We're up there with CC. We went to camp with cool. Andre Ward twice.
Yeah.
My other fighter on my top is Aaron Pryor.
Aaron Pryor. I'm learning. I'm learning too because I don't know.
Yeah, Aaron Pryor was a fighter who, if you notice my list before that was Arguello. Aaron Pryor beat Arguello twice. Aaron Pryor is a fighter who never got no respect. He didn't get the big name fights. He was calling out Sugar Ray Leonard. He was calling out Tommy Hearns. He was calling out everybody. Nobody gave him a chance. And he was a smaller guy calling out the big guys because he just wanted to fight. Right. And I put tenacious and hungry under him.
Yeah.
You know, this is what he was. And the moments he got an opportunity, he made the best of it. You say hawk time. Hawk time. He just like the tenacity that I have on that I teach the guys. It comes from him.
Okay, so he influences a lot of your coaching philosophy. Then that's what's up. That's cool.
Another guy who really influenced me a lot was Evander Holyfield. His athleticism and how smart he was in the ring because he wasn't the biggest heavyweight. He came from cruiserweight to heavyweight. And he fought everybody you could think of. He beat some of them and some he lost to, but he was always daring to be great. If you look at all his opponents, everybody he fought was a heavyweight. They were champions. Yeah. He never took easy fights, and that's what I loved about when he beat Tyson twice. I was like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
So, you know, I grew up in an era where like the only thing I knew about Evander was that he went broke. That's it. That's all.
Well, I mean, he was great in the ring. I didn't think he was great outside the ring. You know, hay un dicho en español que dice el que nunca tener loco se ha de volver. It means when, like, if you never had nothing and you have something, all of a sudden you go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, we can all criticize people that spent money and but at least they got to spend it.
Yeah. And you know what? Kudos to him too. He's still out there. He's still relevant, man. Like, and it's cool that he's got all his faculties in order too. Like he's in great shape, you know.
They beat Tyson twice.
They beat Tyson. Missing a chunk of his ear, but it's all good.
It's worth the money he got.
It's worth the money.
He lost it too. The next guy is Floyd Mayweather. Okay. His intelligence, I call him a savant.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect word.
And his showmanship in the ring. He always knew how to sell a fight. He fought some of the best, if not the best, at in his era. Mm-hmm. He did what he had to do, and most importantly, he left the game healthy.
Yeah.
And he was in some wars with Maidana, with Castillo, with I go on and on. He fought Cotto. That was a very good fight. He fought Pacquiao. He fought this kid. I can't remember the guy who gave him one of the hardest fights. I could just go on with Floyd. He just fought. He's one of my favorites because he's just seeing him what he's done.
You've got to share some time with him, no?
When we were younger, kids in the kid program, yeah. And to see guys like that flourish like that and keep their feet on the ground and
right.
Actually, one of my boys, Ralphie Ramirez, he was one of his sparring partners, and when Giovanni was sparring him too when he got ready for Manny Pacquiao, you know, and just being around that guy, he's special, man.
And I think a lot of people he did change the game, right? It depends on your opinion whether it was for better or for worse. However, I think something that's super underrated, maybe undermentioned about him is his fucking discipline.
discipline was
huge.
Discipline. Yeah.
That dude didn't drink. He didn't have no habits from what I understand.
From what I understand, I never seen it firsthand, but I heard from people that know him very well that after fights he would go for runs and he was take one day off, and he spent a lot of time in recovery because he was fighting everybody. He had and he did all this with not the best hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why he's on my list. The next one is Joe Calzaghe. From Wales. I say conditioning and confident is what really surprised me about him. He was so confident to take risk in the ring. I think his last 2 fights was with he fought Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins and beat them both and left the game.
Damn.
He caught them at the tail end of their career, but he beat both of them and he left. He was 46-0. And I remember there was Jeff Lacey he was also Floyd Mayweather's teammate in the Olympics '96. They were talking about him being the big thing in that weight division. And he fought against an unknown Joe Calzaghe, unknown in this part of the nation, but in Wales and England, he was known. He dismantled him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll show you some videos of him.
Yeah, I'm learning as we go here because, I don't know much either.
This guy, and I'm probably a little bit biased on this one, but let's go. Julio Cesar Chavez.
That's my dad's favorite fighter. It's like every Mexican's favorite fighter.
I think what made him so good was he was always active.
Yeah, huh?
Active and relentless.
Well, how many fights did he finish with? Like 80, 90 something?
No, 100 and something.
100 something?
Yeah.
It's a lot. He went like 89-0, right?
89-0. Yeah. And I have Pernell Whitaker an honorable mention. Everybody's going to say, well, they fought and the fight was a draw. But you know what, man? Like, Chavez went to go fight him at 147. Yeah. He started at 126. And
that's crazy.
He dared to, he was daring to be great. And that's a fight that he took at 147. And you can say he lost, but the judges saw it a draw.
Right.
And, that's why I have him on my top. And just the influence he had. He wasn't the biggest guy. He wasn't the most muscular. He wasn't the tallest. He didn't have the longest reach. Yeah. But what he had, you couldn't measure, was his heart. And
relentless.
Yeah, relentless.
My dad made me watch fucking Meldrick Taylor against fucking Chavez. He's like, you gotta watch this fight.
Yeah, that one. I remember that fight. I was with my tia Monica. She had got in a big fight with her husband, and she was at her house hiding. So we and her watched the fight together. And my tia Monica, I'm gonna tag her so she can see this. Me and my tia Monica were literally both crying watching that fight.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, it's over. He's over. He lost. Like, if it was like at that time of my life, I thought he was done if he would have lost. I didn't think he'd come back, a rematch. And
tough fight, man.
Yeah, and I was literally hugging my aunt. We were crying, and then all of a sudden he drops him. First he stuns him with the punch, and he starts going towards the ropes. Yeah. And me and my aunt we let go of each other. We start, and then he drops him, and the controversial stoppage, whatever. We were crying. We were like so happy that those memories that can't replace those.
And that's I think he has that place in many of the boxing fans I guess brain, right?
Yeah.
But that's part of that relentlessness that, like, I'm not fucking giving up until the last bell, And if he'd been like, man, fuck it, it is what it is, you wouldn't have won that fight, right?
Exactly.
So that's a good reason to have him on your list.
The next one is arguably, like, you could even, when you ask me who my favorite fighters are, I can switch Chavez with this guy.
Okay.
Every single one. One day one is one, the other one day is the other one too.
Depending on your mood.
Sugar Ray Leonard. That showmanship.
Yeah.
Special, tactical, intelligent abilities. Now, he had abilities to, like, his speed, his awareness, his IQ. Sounds like I'm trying to make out with the man over here, but he's a man. To me, he's a man, and he fought everybody in their prime. Didn't duck no one. Accordingly, I guess he ducked Aaron Pryor. That's about it. But Sugar Ray Leonard was, to me, the man.
He's one of those fighters that, I know I'm mentioning my dad a lot, but he's the one who influenced me to watch boxing growing up. So he's definitely one of my dad's favorite fighters as well. And watching those fights where those four guys were, what do they call them, the Four Kings or Four King era? It was I think arguably the last really, really good fucking era of, like, the golden era of boxing.
So you know our podcast that we did the other day about when we're talking about clinching,
right?
About no more. How can we take it out? Somebody posted, I don't know if in my Instagram or on TikTok, they said, "Well, why are you gonna go backwards?
Yeah,
removing the like." You're gonna go backwards if you take away the clinching. Like you're gonna go back in time where boxing is you're gonna make boxing worse. And I was like, I put a smiley face. I didn't know what to tell him, but sometimes you don't have to argue with the people, I'm expressing. It's my page. I'm expressing my logic. But I was like, no, bro. Like the best time in boxing was like when there was no clinching.
Yeah,
the 80s, the 70s, the 90s. You know, clinching started coming more modern. Like. It's always been there when you're hurt, because they say "amárralo" when you're hurt. You know, that's the word you hear. Grab them, grab them. But it's only when you're hurt. Now they're doing it for a disadvantage or
a tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
So yeah. So next on my list is Salvador Sanchez.
Dang, man. Yeah,
relentless and conditioning. Let me tell you. Your dad?
Yeah. He made me watch that one and the Wilfredo
Gomez. That was a war. He made me
watch that. And we watched it again.
Yeah.
And you put it into a different perspective for me. Even the bands were fucking going against each other.
The Puerto Rican, la little merengues. I don't know what you call the bands.
Salsa, whatever.
I don't know what you call the bands. I don't want to disrespect my Puerto Rican brothers, but I think it was mariachi for Salvador Sanchez. Yeah. They were going heads up, competing against each other in the ring. It was, and I think that fight took place in Florida, so it was like they're lucky it took place over there because there's not that many beaners over there. But if it would have been in LA,
it's beautiful to watch. It even gives me the chills just thinking about it because it's as like a boxing enthusiast, even not even like actually being involved in the sport. It's beautiful, man. I really hope that the sport can go back to that.
Yep. And my number 9 on the list, Roberto Manos de Piedra Duran.
That's another special guy right there, man.
I wrote asshole and starving.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe him in the ring, not as a person in the ring. Watching him, not knowing his life story, then watching his life story in the movie, in the documentary, made me more of a fan of his. I didn't know that he was brought up, hating the military that was occupying his country in Panama, and he the funny part is the whole time he thought he was half white because his mom told him his dad was American.
Yeah.
And when he finds his dad, he realizes his dad was Mexican American. He looked like Pancho Villa, he said.
Something most people probably don't even know. Yeah, I didn't know that until you told me that.
Duran is half Mexican from his father, and just what he did from 135 to 160.
Right.
Facing everybody as well. Those guys are legends, bro. They fought everybody. Like, that's why I have him on my list. And I'm not trying to change it, but the next guy on my list also fought everybody. It's Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao is on my list. He fought everybody. He fought at 106 or 108 all the way up to 154.
It's just crazy. Like that. If just imagine that, like a 108 guy just sparring even like a guy in like at 135. Obviously, he like grew, you know what I'm saying? But he carried everything over. Like everything carried over, his speed, his fucking power, and his grit. Something about Roberto Duran that I wanted to mention. Something that I think would be an interesting topic as well. Not a lot of people get knocked the fuck out and then come back.
By Tommy Hearns when they got face planted,
and actually have success. Maybe even Pacquiao, because he got face planted too by fucking Marquez. So it's like
those two guys, those are special men.
Special.
Yeah.
People, a lot of fighters now.
Yeah, they're right next to each other. They both got face planted.
They don't really come back from that, right? It takes a really special fighter, in my opinion, to come back and have success. Let alone come back, but have success after a knockout like that. And Salvador Sanchez, something that I wanted to mention too, is he was young. I think a lot of people might think like, damn, what could have been, right? He was like 23 when he passed, and he hadn't even hit his fucking prime yet.
He had beat everybody. I mean, he was on his way to wiping out that division.
Yeah.
When I think about that 4 kings like you talked about, there was 4. I wouldn't want to call them. There was 3 or 4 fighters that were before that were not so bad that nobody talks about them, just except for the casual fans. Was right under those 4 guys. At welterweight.
Yeah.
You had Pepino Cuevas.
Yeah.
Wilfredo Benitez. And there's another one that I can't think of the top of my head right now who were Carlos Palomino, who were all champions. But those 4 came in and took over that weight division.
Yeah. I think similar to nowadays, obviously not the same kind of fighters, but there's some that hold that popularity spot, but you have guys on the outside, right, like Edwin de los Santos, who are fucking major threat. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Rayo Valenzuela too. They're kind of like right there on the outskirts of. There's the guys, the ones that are like, and everybody knows like Tank and Delfimo, Ryan, Devin, but there's those guys on the outskirts, man, that will fucking upset you.
I wanted to give two mentions though, 2 people on my list that I didn't make the honorable list.
The honorable list.
And didn't make my top 10, but they had a huge influence in my boxing.
What's that? Let's see.
One, as a kid, when I started training in downtown San Diego, just watching this man talk. He probably talked to me maybe 4 times in my life in the ring, in the gym. But those 4 times that he talked to me was like, and I didn't know how big he was at the time, was Archie Moore. Archie Moore, who had, I think, the most knockouts of any fighter. I think to this day, I'll check right now when we get done on BoxRec. And just being around his presence, and his son Billy Moore being a coach here in San Diego, also helping the youth, and they're a huge staple here in San Diego, the Moore family. That was my dude right there, man. Then I started getting a little older, and found out who he was. I was like, wow. I got to roll out with that man as a kid, and I didn't even know what it was,
That's cool though. You still have it made an impact.
Yeah,
for sure.
And the other one is my uncle Gaspar Ortega.
That's a huge honorable mention.
He was my grandma's brother, and he fought ML Griffith twice for the world title, and if he would have won the world title, he would have been a household name because he fought Carmen Basilio, Tony DeMarco, Kid Gavilan. He beat Kid Gavilan. He fought everybody you could think of in the 60s, late 50s and early 60s. And my uncle was, he fought, I didn't know this, but he fought a guy named Tony DeMarco while Tony was champion. And my uncle fought him. When he went to fight him, they told him the fight wasn't for the title. And my uncle beat him while he was champion, but he didn't have the title.
Dang.
So, yeah, I mean, back then he fought, and there was only one bout. There was 9 weight divisions, so the chances of getting a fight again was very hard. And that uncle was the same guy who basically adopted Joe Cortez, the referee, and raised him as his own. And Joe would be in Tijuana with my great-grandparents and my family. Yeah. From New York to Tijuana to the rule with my uncle. So that's where it ties into my family.
Little family history.
Family. Where I come from.
Where you come from.
And to all my Zodiac lovers.
Oh. What's my fucking horoscope, man? Gemini.
On my list, we had 4 Sagittarius.
Dang.
4 Libras. 2 Pisces. 3 Aries. 1 Cancer. 2 Taurus. 1 Gemini. 2 Aquarius. 2 Capricorn. 1 Leo. And 1 Virgo.
Golly, who's a Gemini?
They got to ask me. What's up? You want to know who the Gemini is?
Yeah, who's a Gemini?
I'll tell you right now. Gemini. Come on, bitch. You're freezing on me. The Gemini was Roberto Duran.
Whoo! I'll take that one over the 4. Who's a Virgo?
Oh, I know that one. That's damn, I don't have to look down. That's now I'm gonna have to look down.
I'll take that one Gemini over the fucking
Rocky Marciano.
Okay.
I knew it. September 1st.
Okay. Look at that.
Yeah, but what else? That was yeah. Let me see your list. You know,
I'm
you're working on it.
Yeah. It's under construction.
We also have a list. If you guys want to know, just let us know about the active fighters. None of these fighters are active.
Yeah, these are all inactive fighters. Maybe we'll brush over the active fighters next week.
And their Zodiacs.
And their Zodiacs. That way y'all know. But yeah, no, I didn't even bring it. I came up prepared.
That's okay. I left my homework at the gym too. But, thanks to Dylan. He sent me the pictures. That's why I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan for having your back.
Shout out to Dylan for sparring Maurice Hooker today.
Yeah.
Maurice came in the gym, right? Maurice Hooker. And then Dylan looks at me. He goes, "Who's that, Joe?" I said, "Who do you think it is, fool?" He's like, "You think I can spar him?" And I'm like, Sure.
It worked out.
Yeah, he did good. He did very well.
Yeah, he did good.
Did good.
He did good.
Jose sparred with the Maurice and Kyle and Dylan. They did well.
I was trying to look up. There's nothing really next week. It's Paris. You know, something that I heard, I don't even know if it's for real, is that ESPN dropped Top Rank. I'd have to look that up and look into it. Yeah, so Mike said this morning. I was like, what, for real? Like, what the
Mike
fuck
said it,
happened?
I believe him, because he's all over the podcast and stuff like that.
But, yeah, I don't see anything.
Why would they drop him for?
I don't know. It's interesting.
Their numbers are doing probably bad.
Probably, but I mean, I don't know. It's because they got the UFC in there, too. So I don't know if they're like, we don't got that much budget.
UFC, when they give you fights, it's pretty much the best fighting the best.
Yeah.
When Top Rank gives you fights, they're building guys up.
Yeah.
They're building guys up for pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or for and it's like, that's why people are turning it off.
And even then, though, like their pay-per-views, their big pay-per-view this past year or last year. When did fucking Lomachenko fight Devin? Was it this year or last year? I don't even remember. Last year? That was their pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But you remember that time where people were talking shit on DAZN and they were shitting on the streaming services, and look at the way the world is now. Said, fuck it. No more fucking Showtime, no more HBO.
I remember when we started doing fights in Tijuana on a small level, Juanito goes, Coach, I think we should put these fights like on an app so people can buy them. This is like 12, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Juanito, you're fucking dumb, dog. Who the fuck's going to watch fights on an app, dog?
Juanito's a genius, low-key.
Juanito was talking about it before it even fucking came true.
That's crazy. It's it's the way that the world is now. Everybody's fucking streaming shit. You know, maybe Netflix can get behind it. We'll see. But that concludes, no?
Yeah. I love it.
There's no good fights next week. So.
No fights.
Yeah, no fights.
Except for Kyle. He fights November 30th.
Oh, yeah. Not this weekend, but the weekend after that.
God damn, fucking genius, dog.
Just saying, man.
We'll see you guys. Any questions, comments?
Yeah. Fucking some top 10s in there. Fuck it.
Tell me your guys' top 10s. I like to see that. And then I'm not fucking 100% right. These are just the guys that influence me. You heard them at the bottom 10 were just as good. And
yeah, it's subjective.
Damn, you got big words,
I'm
dog.
going to get out of here now.
Peace.
Peace.
This has been a Point and Yell production. Yeah, I think the words, but sometimes they don't come out of my mouth no good.